Okay, let's see. Here we are again. And hopefully this is being captured properly, because this is a new piece of software in the pipeline. We are looking at Unreal Engine. Let's see. Yeah. So, for those who are unfamiliar with Unreal Engine, it is a game engine. It is quite an advanced one, and this is where we'll be doing final presentation in for this project. And what we have here is just a regular model in a pose. I went ahead and create some materials for it. Guitar, accessories, body, and the eyes. And I'm using a shader that a friend of mine made, Proto Wolf, who is also a developer here on Twitch, a game artist, and we are using the shader that he made for his own project called Camel Rig. I made some modifiers to it. Down here we have some of the textures that I'm using. Unfortunately, again, due to the way that OBS is capturing this, you do not see any of the pop-ups. So if I were to go into the body material, I can drag this on screen all I want, but you will not see the pop-up. So yeah, unfortunately, this is not going to be visible on stream. Just a quick test. Hang on, this will probably work a lot better. Yeah, okay. Cool, okay. I was wondering why I wasn't hearing anything, and that was because my headset was still set to speaker output rather than headset. Alright, cool. Here's me thinking that maybe my microphone wasn't working, but the issue was sitting behind the computer screen, as is usually the case. Okay, so again, as much as I wish I could do this on stream, I am not yet knowledgeable enough of Unreal to confidently do stuff on screen or stream. So this is me throwing a lot of spaghetti at the wall and finally getting some results that I'm somewhat okay with. The biggest thing that currently still needs to be done, or at least that I'm aware of, other than bug fixing at the end, this character is going to need an outliner effect. So this can be done in multiple ways. This can either be done on a shader level, or this can be done on a geometry level. And I'm choosing to do this on the geometry level. So that means that we'll have to go back into Maya, make a duplicate of our model, invert the normals, and expand it slightly outwards, so that you get a trick of the character having an outline. I've had a chat with a couple of friends on what would be quote-unquote better. And even though, yes, you can do this on the shader level, I'm gonna have to be careful with my wordings again. The inverted hull geometry mesh is, for this project, most likely going to give better results, because it gives you more control. The only thing that we need to be careful of is that this may give rigging complications, and we are effectively doubling our poly count. So if I were to go back to Maya, this character has a poly count of, if we look over here, 66,000. So we're basically punching this guy to 120,000, which yeah, I had the initial goal of keeping this character underneath 70,000, so by adding the hull we are effectively breaking that goal. which sucks, but it happens. But yeah. So let's start working on making the inverted hull. So basically I kept this model split on several items for a reason. And now we're just going to be duplicating these things and invert them. But before we do that, I need to set up the materials. So give me a quick second. Let's see, these are accessories, base color. Oh, also a couple of technical issues. Because these are the type of things that you will find really quickly when you start looking at things with their entire shader and you see like... You start seeing issues such as this. So where suddenly like a shadow just stops. And this is because over here, this is where the neck is. At some point I detached the head, made some changes and then stitched it back together. But I forgot to turn the edge back into a soft edge. So this is not correct. Another issue that I found was on the ear. And then again, there was an issue. We mirrored it, we merged back together, but we didn't set the edge back to soft. So now when you're at a glancing angle, suddenly you get this hard edge on both sides. So those type of small little beauty mistakes, let's call them. It's unfortunate that they popped in, but luckily they are easy to fix. So we have accessories. Let's grab the body. Okay. Eyes as well. For the guitar. We have Ace's profile. Okay. So again, in Maya, all of these textures look a lot darker, but we're not here for the texturing or the look depth right now. We know what it looks like in Unreal. Based on that, we'll start going forward. So we're not going to look at the brightness in this one. Okay. I've done this a couple of times, though on models that were not as complex as this one. I've also done a few models in Blender that use the inverted hull, and over there you can use modifiers quite handily to make... What's the node again? I'm drawing a blank on the name of the node, but over there you could make an inverted hull quite a lot easier. Okay, first off, we're gonna have to do it the old way, or not the old way, the manual way. Okay, so first up, soften this one. Over here. Harden it. This is an edge that goes all over the body, so I'll not just double click it, I'll select the edges that I want. In case I accidentally break something else further along. Looks to be all of them fixed on one side. The other side. But this will affect the normal slightly. If it becomes too noticeable, I'll have to rebake the normal. That is something that I will do off stream. That is literally just rebake, re-import into Substance, re-export with new normal. Okay. So that is fixed. Save. One other thing that I'll have to do is, because I didn't do this last time, I'll have to take a look into if there's really no technical issues, because I have a sneaking suspicion that I accidentally left a couple of in. Maya has a cleanup function, mesh cleanup, and I'll just sell it. I'll tell it to select whatever is see anything that either has non-manifold geometry or faces with more than 4 sides, basically n-gons and illegal geometry. Okay, we have a couple of highlights. Let's see what it is. Okay, let's check the guitar first. Those are n-gons. Manually triangulate those. Body. Okay, I think I know why those are there. Those are from triangulation for the buckles. And for these studs to have a point in properly. Yeah. So we can just delete these edges. Then those are quads again. And then up here, same story. We can just triangulate these as well. One more time, apply. Okay, it's no longer highlighted. What else was in there? Also, I have my door open because otherwise this room is going to become an oven again, so I apologize for any motorcycle noises or anything coming from outside. Fixed. Guns. For the fur tufts. Okay, what's in here? I can edit this one, but I have to make sure I'm not going to accidentally adjust the UVs, so I'll just cut these. Okay. 10 months resub. Thank you so much, Knob. Hey there. How's it going, Knob? How's the road trip going? Time checking if everything is clean. Okay. Nothing is highlighted, everything is now clean. That's good. Right, Blender had the solidify modifier over here, and Maya, the way that I know how to do it is we duplicate it, rename it, Google real quick if hull is with one L or two L's. Let's see. Hull, double L. Okay, cool. I'll put these in their own separate group for now. Road trip is good. Oh my god, it's so hot and humid today. Dumbass for wearing jeans. Ooh, yeah. Shorts would have been a better option. That, and I hope you're wearing sunscreen. Let's see. Yeah, we have to start creating holes for each and every. So we can do in Maya. We use the go into face mode. We select everything. Go to transform component, and that'll give us a gizmo. And if we use the blue handle, we can effectively slide it outward slightly. Yeah, we translate. So if we set something like 0.25, we'll have to invert our normals, reverse normals. Set shading to backface culling. You can see it somewhat popping up. Now if we were to give it, let's see, a new material, Lambert, set it to pure black and call it just hull matte. This is one of the methods that I know of creating a hull, and with this we have a lot of control over it. Edit a little bit. I'm gonna set the pivot. I'm gonna set the pivot on the vertex, but I'm gonna tell it to align this edge. Use it move out at least slightly. Manually make sure that the points are also covered. Rather than a gradient, for this one I'll choose the solid gray background, just so it's a little bit easier to see. Okay, let's see, let's do the body. Let's just take out the biggest chunk first. Duplicate it, put it in the whole group. See, component. It's gonna be a lot. Slightly bigger. First normals. There's the whole material. And with that, we immediately get more of a stylized look. But we also see that our triangle count has just jumped up by 30%. Now, this may look good from a distance, but there are areas that we will have to clean up because it's probably not entirely perfect. Mainly in smaller areas such as the face, in which elements such as the lips, eyelids, this is where the inverted hole will require some cleanup because we can see how much has just completely inflated around the eyelids and the mouth, and we want to keep that a lot thinner. This for now. Now I ask myself, is there a smart way where I can paint this out? I think I can by means of a blend shape. Because the move faces, it is still here, like this. This is still here. This is information that we can manipulate. I just need to find a way to paint it up properly. So ideally, I wanted around the lips to be far fewer, especially here on the nose where things begin to collapse entirely. How do I do this in a method that is not entirely convoluted? Is it per face based? It takes it everywhere. Okay. We do this with a blend shape. Also, if anyone is watching and they know exactly how to do this, I apologize for making this extremely tedious. Blend shape. This thing has a blend shape. Great. Now we go to attributes. Hey Lady Adios, welcome on in. God, it's been years since I used this tool. Because okay, so here's my line of thinking. We just created the blend shape that goes from 0 to 1. 0, it has the entire hull inflated. And if I set it to 1, then the blend shape is effectively causing it to be 0. What I want now is to have it set to enable. And I just want to paint. I want to do attribute painting. Just need to look up where that option was. Here we go, paint attributes tool. Okay, so this is all set to 1. You're trying to learn what I'm doing, but your blender brain is turning on right now. Cool. So here we have our model. It's currently flooded to 1. I want it to be flooded to 0. So now we can see, oh yeah, it inflated again. Now, if I were to start painting, and if I recall correctly, this is unstable as hell. If I start painting with a value of 1, I can tell it where that hull needs to shrink. So around the eyes, I want it to be less. Was there a symmetry button? I don't want to do this manually. I want to do this calculated. I'm going to flood it to black. Yeah, I'm going to grab some vertices. This part is symmetrical. So grab both eyelids. We grow selection a couple of times. Fewer. Once again, modify paint attribute tools, and then these we're going to flood to white. Now we're going to. Where was the blend? There was a way to blend this. I'll hit smooth a couple of times. So now if we look at it, this one. Now this one, we can see that the hull where we want it, it is consistent, but near the eyes, it is now so little that it doesn't show up anymore. If you look at it from glancing angles, you can still see that it's very much there. From this angle, it's visible, but then as we get to the eye, the eyelids don't have it, and that's the effect that I want. That's it. I remember the trick from years ago. It's kind of like shader texturing. Not quite sure. This is a trick that I had to learn when I was cleaning up blend shapes from facial expressions, and we had to split left and right type of stuff. So yeah, by means of blend shapes, we are now just actively painting where do we want this blend shape to happen. Now if we are to select if we select the eyebrows, once again, we go to attributes, and then I'll just tell this to get flooded with like a value of, say, 0.8. We can see that it shrinks. Now the outline is a lot more as I expect it to be. So it's something like 7. Be slightly bigger. But alright, we basically have to go over the entire model like this. Again, same for the lips. I don't like how this is, like this is far too big. We select the loop. Probably want to be slightly bigger. Convert this to vertices. Let's replace that like 0.7. Just smooth that a little bit. Okay, the inside of the mouth, I don't think we're ever going to see that. But just to be on the safe side, I'm going to set that to just completely 0. This thing, far too big. I don't like how I have to go back to the modify. Flooded, so this one's a whole lot less. It's too little. Okay. Looking at some of the smaller things. Because everything is now just equally getting expanded outwards. I don't think you've asked, but what is my favorite model that I've ever worked on? Who? Huh. Good question. Now you got me thinking. My favorite model. I think it's this one, because I feel like this one is like a legitimate level up. It's really pulling off the stylized look. Learned a whole bunch of it. I like how it's coming out so far. So yeah, it's this one. See if I can make a couple of artistic decisions. Let's see. just slightly up here. Favorite model. This one mainly because it's coming out. I'll say it's coming out pretty nice. Second place would probably be the Leopard Mercenary. That was a previous project. Had a lot of fun with that one. Learned a boatload from that one as well. I think my answer will always keep shifting towards my most recent project. Okay, so let's add it. This one. Body up next to hair. One thing that we'll probably not need is like a hull effect on these little not stretched, sticking out parts. Actually, kind of going through this weird area between the ratio of stylism and realism, and toon style. You kind of want to do realism, but I just don't think it's for you. Yeah, definitely explore. Definitely explore the art styles that you think are cool. But then if you come to the conclusion of like, ah, yeah, this ain't for me, then do feel free to just keep on moving. Like I've done realistic things and stylized things. I dare say that I can do both. But yeah, there's definitely preferences from one to another. Keep these things a little bit consistent. So if this is 25, then I also want to keep this one to be 25. Flip our normals. It's also working. I don't think that these things will require outline because technically, like, they're kind of like brush strokes, so I don't think that they need an extra emphasis. I like how these parts are now getting emphasized. Distance, that looks nice. You want to make sure that the points are emphasized. Just the component and then just a little bit. What's this? Ah, that's a technical error. Great. I thought I'd fixed that. Evidently I did not. So merge to center. I'm gonna have to check these as well. That's 2. Yeah, so it's unfortunate that I keep finding these technical errors because the person who's rigging this is already making great progress on it. So if I now show up and go like, hey, cool, I made geometry edits once again, that is causing work for them again. Like they have to go over it again. And given, I don't know how much time they can dedicate to this project, so I don't want to keep coming up with like, hey, I found another mistake, and another one, and another one. Just redo this one because I'm also slightly afraid of altering the vertex order. Because if that happens, then the skinning is going to take a lot more time. Again, duplicate. Taking this one first. Yep, it's fixed. And in Maya, again, the radial menu doesn't show up, but there's different ways of setting your pivot. If I were to set this to something like world origin, you can see that it follows XYZ orientations, but I can also set this to component. And that's when you see that red is now an X, and I can make a cleaner move forward and make sure that the thickness remains the same on all angles. These are symmetrical, so I'm going to enable symmetry again. Again, with these, make sure that the points, working. Manual adjustment, please. Again, I apologize if someone out there is currently looking very angrily at the screen, going like, "Oh, there's a more efficient way of doing it." I'm sorry. This is how I do it. All of them? I did. Alright, cool. I want to check something real quick. Check the reference file. Just want to see how those ear tips. I think they're angular enough. Okay. Because I've watched a couple of tutorials on how to do it in Blender, and over there they also set up some sort of blend shapes where you can paint in how much of the hull you'd like to have, like the thickness of it. And a couple of them were going over tips such as, hey, if you have characters with long pointy ears, sometimes it's nicer to just grab the tips and like have them be a little bit more stylized. Kind of what I'm doing now with the tips of the hair. All these small little flourishes to get it to look just a little bit nicer. I think that's why it wasn't working, because I still had symmetry turned on. Manually tweaking invert hull? Yep. Cypher, welcome on in. Yeah, the... You respect it, alright. Hi, I apologize if I'm doing it very suboptimal, but this is the way that I know how to do it in my... Forget these nostrils. Don't like how they get completely scrunched up. Symmetry. Attribute tool, set this to 0.8. Okay. Alright, these tufts as well. Yeah, some parts are definitely going faster than I expected. Some parts are probably going to take me a lot longer. So far, I'm quite happy with it. Got some upsides for animation. You can have it driven by camera position and shape keys, adjusting frame however, but you gain some control. Yeah. I've talked to a couple of friends, and we were talking about, okay, for this project, what would be quote unquote better? Do it on a shader level or do it on geometry level? And the consensus kind of came to, we're going to do it on the geometry level, so we're creating hulls now. I think that's... I do want to keep these on the same order. body, hair, next ear fluff. And yeah, you can do some absolutely crazy stuff with it if you were to put a constraints on it. It might still be necessary once an engine. Okay, so for the people who weren't here at the start of the stream, ta-da! I did do a small setup inside Unreal. I'm using Protos shader from CamoRig. Give a shout out. Cool. This is ProtoWolf. He's also a furry game dev on Twitch, and he is responsible for CamoRig, which is a VTuber application inside Unreal Engine. And I'm using one of his shaders. And I modified it a little bit, and this is what it currently looks like. So we have a little bit of Fresnel information coming in that's giving like this shadowy information. Shadows themselves are also editable. Like, it is quite a neat shader. But the hull effect is something that I would have to do on a geometry level. And then after that, we'll go further into look deving from Unreal, and I'm gonna have to read some serious documentation on Unreal, because there's a lot of stuff in here that just keeps popping in and out. But that is not what we're focusing on today. Today we are working on the hull. Again, these things are symmetrical. Transform component. Doing great, thank you. Let's see, reverse normals, give it the whole material. Why do you not have them? Okay. A little bit of like the whole 2D stuff of line thickness. That also applies to making your hull. So I don't want these fur tufts to have the exact same like hull thickness as the body. I want these things to read softer, so these things are gonna get... Let's give them a thickness of 1. What does that look like? Okay, that reads better to me. Slightly tempted to make these tufts also have them slightly thinner hulls. So again, I'm gonna paint it. Tool settings, replace it, set it like 0.8. Because this is cheek fluff. This is supposed to read thinner. Develop entirely. sure we grab the right ones. Okay. Another part. Piercings. We did that. Am I okay with the thickness of the hull? Why did I delete? I did not delete. Make them like the mask. Cool. Okay. Duplicate. Sorry, the heat is literally causing my brain to sometimes short circuit of like, okay, we're gonna do X amount of steps, and then it just flat screens or blue screens. Nice combination of flat line and blue screen. Transform component. Let's do 0.2. Okay, and this is where it gets a little bit iffy because part of it is intersecting with the model, which is removing the hull. That's when you sometimes get like these well, not sometimes, that's when you get these iffy lines. I wonder if... manually added a couple of these vertices. Where do I want thicker lines? Probably up here. Thanks. Thanks to be a little bit bigger. Cool. I will not nitpick in this stage. I shouldn't. The eyes. The eyes do not need a hull, mainly because they are fully encapsulated, and you're not going to see that. Alright, teeth. These things are probably going to clip a lot. Require a little bit of extra attention. And just like the lips and the eyes, we do not want these to be like too exaggerated. Keep it something small like 0.05. That might be too little. First normals, all material. Hey Alex, welcome on in. Good to see you again. Okay, so again, teeth, really thin outline. I'm looking at this edge and I think it's giving some trouble. These two edges I'm just gonna fill them completely. Entirely done. Just so we don't, or we still have it a little bit, but it's less clipping with the teeth. I think that looks good. As opposed to this. So over here you can see it kind of clipping with the teeth. I should not just undoing and redoing in Maya while doing attribute painting is a recipe for crashing, so I should be saving a whole lot more. Okay, but it's now less. Okay. Cool. Teeth, tongue, that is... Tongues are subdivided cubes. Let's see. Transform. Something small. 0.5. Material. Thin outline, that's good. Let's see, shoulder pauldron, right. This one is separate, or several items. Transform components. 0.5. I can already see some issues with the bolt. Okay, and this is where we see stuff like this of clipping, so I think that these two... Select an object that has paintable attributes. Okay. Right, we need a blend shape, so we... Pauldron, all... Deform, blend shape. Now these two... Paint the blend shape. Like 0.2. emphasizing a couple of these edges. Because this is a messy model, I'll like having a little bit of a like inconsistent outline. That'll probably actually make it look better. Okay. Up next, chest strap. Hey, the Brightonator, welcome on in. So I should drink some of that water. Cool. Stay hydrated, especially during these hot days. And summer has just begun. Look at our poly count. Yeah, we're already at 110. Because we are effectively doubling our poly count. One third of summer in progress. Yes, we are in the first month of summer. 8. Listen, as a Dutchman, we complain about the weather non-stop. If it's too warm, then it's like, oh, I wish it was winter again, so that, I don't know, I wasn't melting. And then once it's winter, it's like, oh god, I wish it was summer again, so we had, like, nice weather outside. We will never stop complaining about the weather. It is as Dutch as we can get. Yes, last Friday, when I was in a train to visit my parents for the weekend, it was indeed 40 degrees outside. I was in a train. Luckily, they had airco. I was in a bus where they had black leather chairs. And then it was a small car ride back to the village. And the car was like, hi, it is currently 42 degrees outside. Would you like to turn on the airco? I was like, yes, blast us. Let's see, 0.2. Here's hole. For the Netherlands, they invented autumn and spring. Yes, and autumn is my favorite season. It's not even getting that hot there in Texas. Yes, and then we also have the beautiful factor of humidity, because we Dutch people push back parts of the ocean. A lot of our stuff is actually below sea level, so the humidity is wild. And for the people telling me to buy an airco, the apartment that I live in is a rent, so I can't just start smacking air conditioning into these walls. Because the what do you call it? The agreement says that I must leave the apartment in the exact same state as I found it, or like when I moved in. So yeah, my corporate landlord would not be happy if I would start installing those type of things. Yours too? Yeah. So still not fully understand how you can live under the sea. Even after watching a documentary, said constantly pumping water back. Uh, it's been a while since I've had the full history lessons, but the Netherlands has some insane infrastructure to keep all of the water out, and if there is extreme, like, if there's some extreme, like, how do you say this? Like extreme rain and the rivers begin to rise up again and things start flooding, we have dedicated plans of like, okay, this is all farm field. We're gonna... What's the word? We're gonna open a couple of these sluices and then redirect the water so it's all just farm fields where no one lives that gets flooded, rather than part of the city. Because that's what happened a couple of years ago, because it was to such a ginormous degree that part of a major city actually got flooded. Yeah, it's... We take this shit... Sorry, language. We take this stuff very seriously, because, yeah, all the history books do tell about watersnoodramp, and that is when some of the dikes actually failed, and a huge amount of water just flooded the Netherlands again, and a lot of people did not make it. So we take that stuff very seriously. Okay, that is... Test traps done. Still a super cozy country? Yeah, we are. Let's see, elbow first. Cool. Hey Snowy, welcome on in. You finished Elden Ring. I like you now? I've always liked you, Snowy. And congratulations on beating Elden Ring. How did you enjoy the last two bosses that are back to back without a checkpoint in between? Super fun? Nice. But Elden Ring is a pretty great game. What build were you running? What weapon? What armor? Or spells? I'm curious. Okay, that reaches a little bit too thick. Okay, better. Both sides, no symmetry broken. Pure strength build. Okay. The weapon you get from the first tree sentinel, and then the tree sentinel armor. Okay, yeah, you went full strength. Okay. I think that's the golden halberd, isn't it? You just walked out of the mausoleum, bonked the first boss, took its weapon, and then just played the game. Bravo. Okay, nice. I can respect that playstyle. I've tried doing strength playthroughs, but for some reason I always go back to dex weapons. Yeah, I'm glad that you had fun. So you beat the base game. Are you going to try and do the DLC as well? You are starting the DLC tonight. Alright, cool. Making a note of that, and I'll see if I can catch your stream. Because unfortunately, time zones are a thing. But I would like to see more of your streams. Our spells for you was 3 Sentinel beginning. And the Flower Girl, whatever her name is. Girl? Also, you're not streaming it, just doing your own little... Ah, okay, gotcha. Well, in that case, good luck with the DLC. Keep me in the loop for like how it's going. Flower Girl. Now you're making me think about Elden Ring and like, which of the 100+ bosses is it? What's the environment for it? Oh wait, Flower Girl. You're talking about Melania. Yeah, yeah, Melania. God. This is where I admit that I have not defeated Melania. I played a lot of Elden Ring, but there's a couple of bosses where I just told myself, like, yeah, I'll come back to this at a later point. And then never did. It's, I have a bad habit where at some point... Now, mind you, this was after like 100 hours of first playthrough, and then just going, okay, I just want to beat the game at this point. Like, this is taking far too much time. And it just keeps going. So at some point it was like, fine, we'll go to the final bosses. And then we'll just call it there. I'll come back to some of the optional bosses after a break. Spoilers, that break is still ongoing. Yeah, just... I have done the DLC. I've beaten the DLC. I got my ass handed to me. And then it was like, cool, we're taking a break again. And I still have not fought Melania after all this time. She's annoying, but she's also a beautiful boss with like good telegraphed attacks. Really nice theme. And once you learn her pattern, she's extremely rewarding to fight. I just never sat down for it. We have the chains. We can probably do those at the same time. Now, okay, also, I could just do all of these in bulk. But odds of mistakes slipping in, I'd rather not, so that's why we're doing it one after one at a time. God, train of thought. Yes. Components. Thinner. Oh, cool. That looks immediately good. That makes me happy. Double check. 0.15. Let's see. Almost done. We got the fur. Work. Some of these tips. And speaking of games, I somewhat got back to Silksong. Jumping back into a playthrough of 54 hours. When you pick up a game and you're like, I wonder why I took a break from this. You load up your save file again, 54 hours, you've lost all muscle memory. And then you notice you're sitting on a bench that's right out of a boss room. And you're like, right, now I remember why I took a break from this game. I'm an incredibly frustrating boss. By frustrating, I mean I am once again not the type of gamer who sits down to learn a pattern of a boss and will just try to rush him down. Which in Silksong doesn't work. I did eventually beat the boss after just calming down a little bit and indeed learning him, but that game tilts me so fast. Hey there, Kodai Shep. Welcome on in. Looking fur, we got the knuckle duster, and then we have the guitar at the end. Cool. How are we doing for time? We are... Oh, we're halfway there. Nice. I'm not trying to leave all of you. I'm keeping an eye on the clocks just so I'm trying... Okay. Deek and I have set a deadline for this project to be done by September. Or like... hang on. Let me check real quick. So yeah, September 16th is when I got my... what do you call it? Affiliate status. So I'm trying to get this done before Wednesday, September 16th. Which means we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 more sessions. That should be more than enough, but knowing the universe, there will be things that break. Yeah, I am trying to keep pace. Like I do want to get this thing done relatively soon, because I'm already eyeing a future project that I'm getting excited for, and I want to do that. So these are a little bit too big. invert the vertices. So 0.5. Just so that the outline is a little bit tighter. Those have gotten slightly off. Fix those real quick. We have ad starting in 3 minutes. Doing that ad, I'll get up, do some stretching, drink some water. Take a look at the product count, 125,000. Yay. Also, this is something that the rigger pointed out. If we look at the front, this character is technically not standing on the floor. So that is something that we'll have to... Well, that is something that I should have checked earlier. But now with the rigging, I think the consensus became, okay, we'll leave it as is. If I were to shift everything by 0.01 now, the rig is gonna have to get updated. Okay. Let's see. So that is the body, I think. Time to commission me. What? Snowy. What would you commission me for? Werewolf muscular Snowy. Careful what you wish for. Alright. We have Epic. Were Husky. This is where I start thinking about things of what I can actually do. That's also, these are a little bit too big. Also, advertisement. I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna do a stretch, and I'll hydrate. I suggest all of you do the same as well. Okay, and we're back. All of you are back as well. Cool. Thank you for letting me know, Snowy. And it was not my intention to immediately go back to the apps when I said that. A little bit too big. Let's see, so that's it for the body. Everything has a hull now. Not seeing any major mistakes. Okay, so last part, the axe. And we're probably gonna have to do the same as we did with the body, where we're gonna have to have a couple of elements be thicker and thinner than the rest. Because I'm mainly looking at those strings. And some of these, I don't know what you call them. Like the pins that you turn to tune the guitar. Guitar, I did not follow proper naming convention for that one. Select everything. Turn off symmetry. Like it. This there geometry wise. First normals. Okay, so it does exist, it was just really weird. Okay, guess I'll set this to something like so we can absolutely see that those strings are far too thick. Again, we create a blend shape. Form blend shape. Let's see. Everything. Plot it. Things we don't want. Or rather, reduce. So points. I'm doing a big think right now because some of these elements I don't like how thin they are. Oh, also I have to make absolutely certain I am actually manipulating the right object. Not like accidentally adjusting. Just a quick mic checkup. We have a couple of people outside being a little bit loud. Do let me know if things are bleeding through. Fine, don't hear anything? Alright, cool, thank you. Time for your big 4-hour meeting. I better behave while I'm gone. Well, you better behave during the meeting. But thank you very much for hanging out, Snowy. Good luck at the meeting. Select some of these because this is where the hall is far too big. Never behaving. Yep, and that's why we love you, Snowy. Okay. I think that's it for the hall. This is where we're gonna do the big scary thing and just export everything and hope that Unreal is going to play nice. Which I'm guessing it's not gonna. Save this. Because all of these things are separate. All of them do have the proper materials. What to look at. A little bit of history on it. Again, me and Unreal are not the best of friends yet, so I'm just gonna export this as an OBJ and we're gonna see what happens. Export selection, assets. Not FPX, this is gonna be OBJ, which is most likely going to ruin more than a couple of things. Okay. Hyena Unreal V2, classical naming conventions. Go Unreal. Let's see, file structure is important. We have the Hyena Bard. New folder, we'll just call this Hall model. Here, import. Get this option box that none of you can see, but this is a lot of import stuff. Just gonna hit import and see what's gonna give me. Okay. I'm going to hide this one for a second. We have all of these groups. Right. We also cannot agree on which side is up. This is part of the hull. Second part. This one. We have some semblance of an outline. Which actually makes me quite happy that this is now working. Because it does add a lot. Yes, we exploded our poly count, but I'm liking this a lot. Okay. So, again, I'm happy with this. I'm proud of this result. Let's see, we still have an hour and 13 minutes to go. I'm still noticing that I have a couple of metal parts that I still need to update because this is the old type of metal. Over here we haven't updated. This is still undefined, unbrushed. Okay. But it is working. The hull method is working. For that I'm very happy. This is progress. This makes me very happy. Okay. This is where I save. This is where I shut down Maya because I remember last time when I had what was it, 4 software packages open at the same time plus OBS. That was not a fun time. Okay, so saving this one. Give me a second. All of you keep looking at Unreal. I save my boot up Substance Painter. I'm also looking at that skull on the wrist again. The way that I last week spent a lot of time hand painting it and trying to get the lighting to look somewhat decent. I have an idea for how I want to fix that, and it involves fake lights again rather than trying to hand paint it, because looking back on it, I think I can do better. Okay. Give me a second to update the file. Abracadabra. Substance. Cool. Immediately loading in all of the layers and just having a heart attack. Hey Ro, welcome on in. Hello, hello. Good to see you again. Okay, so this thing needs to be updated. This skull. Then also here. I feel like I can update the metal a little bit. I believe it's almost 1 month of internship now. Nice. Time flies. How is the internship going? How is it treating you? Are you learning a lot? Accessories. Let's see. Gold metal. Chain curvature offsets. This is where the file is really thinking. Alright, this is where we painted it. So first up, this needs to be...
Small businesses, telephone communication is still a kind of groping in the dark.
Hello? Hello? Who's this?
But now you can overcome all that with the Merlin system from AT&T. It's incredible.
Pretty good. Learn to take how to take care of the 3D printer, 3D scan, and other process like painting a bottle with airbrush. Ooh, nice.
AT&T, the right choice.
It's like a lot of fun stuff to learn. Sick hard brush. Alpha. I got a couple of flourishes, such as this metal is probably rubbing against this object quite a bit. And make sure that over here that the metal is actually more exposed. I imagine that that letter is really getting rid of the gold. They have FDM and SLA 3D printers, which are FDM and SLA. I'm blanking on the abbreviations right now, because I know PLA, which is like a 3D printer that does a lot of slices, and that's how you like build it up. And then resin printers, it's like you pull the model up upside down from it. So FDM and SLA, what are those?
Now you can overcome all that with the Merlin system from AT&T. It's incredibly easy to use.
FDM is a printer that builds objects layer by layer by melting and extruding thermoplastic filaments. It's different material from resin. Okay. So those... I think those are the... what do you call it? Like the more common printers out there. Because resin printers, at least to my knowledge, are still a lot more expensive. Like those things are a lot more expensive, at least when I checked. But that was also when Formlab 2 came out. It was like several $1,000s. So it's like, I'm not able to afford that one. Yeah, and then also the entire like, oh yeah, you'll be working with resin now. Please make sure you have a very, very well ventilated like workshop, because otherwise, man, you are gonna get a headache. Like, cool. Yeah, don't like the smell of resin, and then you have to harden it afterwards. So yeah. Yeah, when I was looking into it, it was also like, hi, here's the phone book of things that can go wrong with resin printers. It's like, cool. Hey Hattie, welcome on in. Glad to see you. How are your projects going? 'Cause I have been unable to catch some of you, or rather most of your streams, so also get a shout out. For those who don't know, Astral Hattie is also a 3D artist here on Twitch. They make really cool projects and you should go check them out. Accidentally used the smear brush rather than... Okay, also using these pen stripes. Going a bit slow, but making progress. Found some weight painting errors, so I've been fixing them. Never ending weight painting. Yes. Again, I'm still learning. But my god, this technical rigging requires so much trial and error. Yeah, because if I remember correctly, you're trying to make like more billowing shirt, like less clothing that's a little bit more loose fitting. Thank you for the shout out. You're welcome. Also, the pelvis area is rigged wrong and ignored it until I realized how bad it looks. Yeah, that is definitely one of the things that always makes me most afraid of rigging. Is where I always equate it like building a house of cards. And then you're working on it, and then at some point you realize, oh no, something on like the most fundamental level needs to be adjusted. And then in my experiences, the entire thing then just collapses. Which is not a fun experience, because then you have to redo everything again. Yeah. Again, rigging, really impressive. Still learning it. At this point in time, not for me. So I greatly admire people who are sitting down and like really trying to get really good at it and proficient. How's texturing going? Texturing is going well. I want to say we're nearly there. And I can show this real quick. Unreal. So, we have created a hull. We have our thick outline. We did this manually in Maya. So we have control over, let's call it line thickness. And I'm happy that it is working. It really gives it that stylized look. We're doing the last couple of texture adjustments because again we have some like this is the old metal. I want to make sure that this skull pops a bit better. Looking great, thank you. So I'm happy with how it's turning out. Now it's going to be okay inside Unreal. How do we affect things such as exposure? How do we make sure that the colors aren't blown out? Because if I were to adjust, again, this is what I'm talking about whenever I say Unreal does a lot of stuff in the background that I'm not used to, and it makes me very like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing things that I'm not telling you to do? For example, if I were to rotate the light, you can see that it has that gradient to it of like light slowly fading in and out. I know it's physically accurate, but if I go here to, where was it? Yeah, post-process. Somewhere out here, I turn it off of like metering mode. Rather than auto exposure, I turn that to manual, but there's still stuff going on in the background that I'm not fully aware of why it's happening, where the button is, and it's just, I don't know if frustrating is the word, but this is where I suddenly feel like I've only ever been using 3D for like a couple of days. And I'm not going to subject all of you to that on stream. So that is something I'll figure out off stream and then have it like explain what I did on stream. But for now, this is the result that we have. We're doing some texturing polishing. And so far it's going great. So, back to substance. Just applying what we learned about like painting in more gradients, making sure that our shadows are actually placed in here. Yeah, I am quite happy with... I'm quite happy and quite proud of the texturing techniques that I learned during this project. Some elements really feel like a level up, and that makes me very happy. Let's see. Let's go back to this glove. This skull has a bunch of fake light and fake shadows painted in, but all of them are hand painted. I think we'll get a better result if I were to at least add a singular actual calculated light to it, just to help me get on the way. Also, see this green bar. This is Substance Painter loading and unloading things constantly. So this Substance registers every stroke that you make. So at the end of a long project, your file is just completely like, it's an intense file. Both Unreal and Unity for sure require some degree of messing around with lighting to make things look right. Yeah, so when I started with Maya, things like global illumination were not a thing that you would get for free. What was it called? V-Ray? Like, back then, when you would put a light in your scene, that light would do one thing, and if you wanted to have all the bells and whistles, such as bounce lights or it showing up in reflections, you had to enable them one by one. And it gave you a lot of control. That's what I'm used to. Like, you start from 0 and then you add bells and whistles to it. But Unreal, to me, feels like the opposite. Where, hi, here's your scene, there's a whole lot of stuff already going on. Just put in your models and you'll be fine. So just the way that I think about this is not how the software expects you to handle it. So rather than hand painting fake shadow, I will enable layer because I want the color, but the hand painted detail will just remove for now. I'm going to add a filter. I'm going to add, no, not a filter. I always mix them up. I'm going to add a generator, and then in this generator, I'm going to choose light. And now rather than a frontal projection, rotate it so it's more side facing. So shadow, so this needs to be coming from down below. So this is where I want my shadows to be. Highlight, we're going to pump that up. Because this is at such an angle, this is a bit of a wild estimate of what the value should be. Now for the second one, we do the same thing. Copy effect, we'll add it to the fake light. Rather than hand painting it, we'll use a generator. Effect, and we are going to invert it. Maybe not invert. I'm just going to manually rotate it. Doesn't add a whole lot. That could also just be my eyes not working properly. Okay, I just hit the save button. It's taking a second to get everything. Turn off accessories. Yeah, the head still needs a little bit of work. Also the teeth. I feel like I just zoomed over the teeth. I feel like we can do better. So this fur pattern, like these are the things that we zoomed over in the very first pass, and now it's time to give it the love that it deserves. Body. Muzzle paint. Okay, looking at the concept again. Does look like he has some brush work. Maybe we can smooth that a little bit. So he has slightly darker lips. Color. Also, I'm looking at the character now, and I noticed that this muzzle booty doesn't. So again, I'm doing the thing of where I think I know what it looks like, but I don't. This needs to be bright. There's no aberrant pixel information. Cool. Let's see, part of fur. Yeah, that's this part. So again, with the blur tool, I'll it a little bit. Nope, that is not the blur tool, that is the erase tool. Actually, I wonder, can I add an alpha to the blur tool? Because if so, we might be able to get a little fur effect. If I were to get this something like dots. We're gonna throw spaghetti at the wall again. That's pretty neat. Okay, cool. We're using that. Let's see. I want you to follow the path, because now if I were to go in and out, that breaks it. Okay. So follow the path off, but if we now smush in and out, this type of effect, which looks pretty neat. Hit our brush. Get some positive and negative shapes in there. Flat blend here. That looks nice. What's the color of his little goatee? Also use that same method down here. Okay, so for people who may not be familiar with Substance, let me just vocally say what I just did. So we're using the blur tool. And whenever you have the blur tool, it's just a soft round brush and you will start blending things as is. It's like smudging over it with a big finger. Dodger, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome on in. So rather than using a large soft smush effect, what I did was in the brush setting, I gave it a very thin alpha strip. So this is brush paint grungy line. It is by default in Substance Painter, and it's just a thin line. You can, if I make the brush really big, you can see that it is like a messy stripe. Now, holding down Control, I can rotate my brush. And then by choosing the angle that I want, making it the size that I want, I can start blurring things in and out. And we start getting this fur pattern effect. Just gotta make sure that the angle is done right. If not, you're gonna get like a more soft brush. It's actually also quite nice for blending. And a couple of sharp, hard ones. Okay, so that's how we get this effect. I think this looks really nice. Okay. We continue. The parts where it's... Alright, on hand palms, though. So there is no fur there. So on the torso and on the neck. Cool. Let's see. Okay, hang on. We were busy with the muzzle. Right, lips. This is where I'm jumping all over the place. Lips. Very carefully also. Using the lazy brush feature to then just draw. Just a couple of breakups. Advertisement. Let me grab something to drink real quick. So how are we doing for time? 30 minutes remaining. Alright, cool. Yeah. Okay, we got the lips. Teeth. Breakup. What is this? Oh, very slight darkening. Okay. Let's see. Nose. Tattoos. Scar. Ear interior. Cavity effect. Alright, that's that part. Necessary. Yep, a little bit of extra shadow. We did the mouth interior, so we have the gums. I think there can just be a... No, wait. I've had this in the past as well, where the gums and the mouth bag had different... where they had different colors. Because this is getting a gradient. Something is causing fake light to spill in here. Because again, I'm going through this because on the previous character I went through multiple feedback rounds about whenever this character talks, we can see that the teeth and... Oh god, am I dropping frames? Probably. Like when this character talks, it really... The teeth and the gums have a different light intensity than the mouth pack, which makes it look like they have dentures. Which is not what you want to hear. Okay, so this is most likely what's causing it, where this fake AO is causing shadow to happen inside the mouth pack, and that is not what we want. So if I set this to disable, then everything is blending a lot better again. Okay, cool, that's fixed. Because now the gums and the mouth pack have the same light. Okay, it's these type of small things that keep coming back to you in feedback rounds. Let's see, so we have the gums, we have the tongue. A couple of aberrant pixels. We clean those. Should not press Ctrl Z that easily. Get updated because we adjusted the ID map. It did not. Why do you still have that weird shadow? Shadow. We played the game of Find the Pixel. What's causing this? Should be in the tongue. Oh, base body, okay. Paint. Just white. Okay, that fixed it. Gradient. Darken some elements, yes. Overall mouth gradient, which is only masked inside the mouth interior. This effect, cool. Where are my teeth? Ah, there are teeth. Yeah, we gave him a very tiny gradient and that's it. This character deserves better teeth. See, because looking at the concept, he does not have the cleanest teeth. So it's like at the base of the teeth, there's like some discoloration going on. This is basically not noticeable. At least, not to me it is. Okay. This is one of those times where having an exploded model might actually be nice. That is something I want to attempt for future projects. Because now we're going to be painting on the teeth, but they are getting quite a bit of overlap by the body, so it's more of a high guesstimation. I'm going to turn this down by quite a bit, just so that it's like really visible. If I would have done the teeth UVs a lot cleaner, we would not have this. Rather, it would have been easier. Not going for the world's dirtiest teeth, I just need some color makeup. We'll blend it a little bit more. Again, I'm in smudge mode. Quick mask so I don't accidentally start drawing on the inside of the, the inside of the mouth bag. Does this do anything? Does this just make it look like he is a little bit? This quick masking is still throwing me for a couple of loops sometimes. Just because weird selections going on. Can I make my brush any thinner? Don't give him those type of teeth. Okay, just a little bit of shadow so that those teeth are a little bit more distinguished from each other. That's all we're looking for. Okay, what else? Am I participating in art fight? Unfortunately, I am not. I heard about art fight multiple years in a row now. I need to brush up my 2D skills a lot more before I feel like I wish to participate in that. But to everyone who's hopping in, kick some ass, makes lots of attacks, makes lots of retaliations. Go make beautiful art for each other. You do 3D attacks, okay. I imagine that yes, that is also a possibility, but I'm looking at what I have on my plate right now, and it would be irresponsible of me to start piling on art attacks for an entire month. Maybe I can do some art fights outside of art fight month. If I do, let me know. You're gathering up targets, no pressure. Alright, cool. Yeah, for that. I also see a lot of people posting their characters online. This is where I realized that I have not even posted like, Canyon online anywhere. I have a ref sheet, but I never posted it. Put the lines. Wait, another thing that I realize, black outlines around the eye really make them, really help them make them pop. I get a heart attack every time this program autosaves now. Let's see. Small emphasize on the neck muscles. Give him a little Adam's apple. This guy has paw pads on the palm of his hands as well. Because I also forgot that at the... Or do I not forget? Leopard Mercenary has a couple of inconsistencies on the hand. Don't tell anyone. Turn up the wireframe so that when these knuckles bend, that they're actually, that these straps are actually on the knuckles. Let's see. A couple of lines. This one should not be symmetrical because, well, actually, we can paint it in. Just have to make sure that we brace it from the other side as it goes over a belt buckle. What's going on with smudge brush? Okay, I guess I broke my smudge brush because now we're getting this really. It's another cool effect, but it's not the. I want to give it the same effect that I've gotten here on the neck. I'll watch my own VOD and see how I created it. But for now, looking at the time, we have a couple more minutes remaining. I'm gonna save this, I'm gonna export it, and then we're gonna look at it one more time in Unreal. So, save, export. Give me a second as this bakes. I hope this won't kill the stream. Let's see, everything, yep. Export. For this we only need a diffuse and a normal map, so go ahead and export. I'm surprised by how quick that went. I'm looking... Okay, I'm looking at my frames and I do not see any drop frames from that bake. Alright. Unreal. Completely blown out. Something's not happy. Like I'm looking at... Oh yes. So... There we go, there go the frames. Thank you, Unreal, for being such an efficient program. These textures, re-import. I hope the stream is still watchable. Okay. I think we're getting very close to the end. This is... Okay, let me just immediately fix that before I forget, because these are symmetrical scribbles from the sleeve. Back to... Yeah, I just dropped several hundred frames. Let's see, let's immediately get rid of these. Make sure that symmetry is turned off. Get rid of these. Just redraw this one. All these little like things fading in and out, all of this will be cool. Yeah, let me once more export. Oh, hey Lianos, welcome on in. Unfortunately, at the end of the stream, let's see. Everyone, hold on to your frames. We're gonna lose a couple. Unreal, please be gentle. Okay, re-import. Yep, that's another 100 frames lost. Okay, but this is where we've gotten. So we have our hull. We have our black outline. Couple of areas. Okay, so I'm looking at the jawline and it feels a bit too big. Hair looks nice. I still have the fake shadow or the fake highlight in it, so I have to not forget to put that out. But overall, I'm very happy with this project so far. So, I'm going to hit save. Well, no. Because I know what saving an Unreal project does. We're going to go back to Substance, which is mildly more stable. I hit the save button. Always glad to stop in and see my cool work. Oh, thank you. Cool. Oh. Some crash. Okay. So, all of you, this is what the character currently looks like. I'm quite proud of it. And I'm gonna look for a raid target that I can drop all of you off at. Let's see. Hope a couple of them are doing art. Most of them are playing games. Let's see. Do a quick checkup with this. Unfortunately. Come on, someone. Alright, well, it's not an art stream, but it is an artist. We are going to say hi to Seesaw. So they are currently playing Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds. That is a classic game. We're gonna go say hi to them. Let's see. /raid. Okay, so raid has been created. Thank you all very much for watching. If you'd like to see more of me outside of Twitch, I have a Blue Sky. Here's the link to it. Yeah, we're nearing the end of the project, which makes me very excited and also very nervous that something will break at the end. Yeah. My mind is now racing about all the things that could potentially break, or the little tiny things that we could sneak in at the end. Because I have some ideas for metal and maybe a little bit of isotrophics, but that would require me to actually get a hand on Unreal shaders. And for that I'll probably have to ask a couple of friends for a couple of favors. But that's for a future project or future stream. For now, if you have my emotes, as always, Cozy Vibes Raid. And then I will see all of you again next week. Take care, and bye-bye.